welcome back. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Jenna. I go by Lucky Muse online, and I'm a digital artist that sometimes makes YouTube videos. I share thoughts on nerdy things and creative things that I think would be beneficial to you or spark creative inspiration. So check out the video, visit the comments, and consider subscribing. Today I'm going to show you how to make some very simple and very cheap decorations during autumn. Right now, in the Northern Hemisphere at least, these creations store really well, so it's perfect for year-round decor, as well for wilderness, adventure, fantasy, or magical forest feeling that you can bring indoors. First, you'll need to buy, borrow, or already have a needle and fishing line, or some other equivalent, like see-through clear string that you can thread. You'll also want to have tape or hooks or pins. I myself personally used tape and pins to put it on the ceiling. So this is up to you and how you're going to be hanging these decorations once you're done. For the leaves, you'll need to be able to thread the line through the needle, and you'll be tying knots with them. So it's a good idea to also have some sort of dark material to put on your workspace so you can more easily see what you're doing. The pine cones are simpler, and the needle won't be required. Same goes for if you'll be using sticks. However, you will want specifically pine cones that are flaring out and not smooth. At this point, I'm going to let you know that if you are going to be hanging a line of pine cones, or even just one or two, you can use essential oils to make them pretty much an easy free scent diffuser for your room. You don't even have to hang them for that. It's just a free tip. Use pine cones, it's very easy, and then you can get really nice smells in your room. Sticks can work for this as well, but only if it's very dry and its bark is removed, and the wood type does matter as well. I personally use an old dried dead root, so I find that pine cones are easiest and best for people to just get a hold of, so my recommendation is to just focus on that. Now, before we begin making these decorations, we need to go out on a nature walk and collect our crafting materials. Just get out there in touch with your inner child, the nature that surrounds you, and just enjoy yourself. Remember that you can just pick up whatever leaves look beautiful to you. There's really no right or wrong answer in this, which is why I love it. You can focus on a particular color that has meaning to you, like red for luck, or specific plants that correspond to memories that bring you joy, or general flora symbolism and history that you personally identify with, such as birch leaves for protection and new beginnings, or a branch from an aromatic herb you might be growing personally that you want to incorporate. I should preface now that you should always practice safe foraging and harvesting techniques if you're going to be incorporating other flora besides the leaves and the pine cones. Afterwards, let them dry out in a dish or plate where there's dry air. That's the most important thing, preferably in sunlight. You can press the leaves between paper and towels and heavy books if you desire, or let them dry loosely with the paper towels. Personally, I find they look more natural when they're not flattened for this particular project, but this would be a time where you could flatten them as well if you want to for other things. Just do the best that you can with what you have, and feel free to experiment since these are items that are so easy to get. Make sure everything you collected dries off before we begin the next part. Okay, now that we have all the items we need, and they are all ready to be used at this point, I'll show you how to create a hanging line of leaves and then the pine cones. For the pine cones, I didn't find many that really spoke to me at this moment, and I kind of worried I was not going to have good ones for this video. But drying them out makes them flare out more. So if you find pine cones that just feel kind of not so great, but you really want to use them, just let them dry out even longer. I'm not going to be personally using sticks or any other fall trinkets you might want to personally incorporate, but you'll be able to follow along very easily. This isn't a hard craft by any stretch of the imagination. It's just something that I feel like we might not always think about. The abundance of nature is just always there. Even in cities, you can go to a park. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I did this DIY. This is my first time making it, so you might have some ideas, and I encourage you to leave them in the comments for others. You're going to want to pre-cut your cord to roughly the length you're going to want to use. So you take the leaf and you poke the needle hole in between the two larger veins of the leaf. Then you thread your fishing line or other thread if you're using something else through the hole. It's very simple. Gently pull the leaf all the way through the line to the end and tie it off with a basic knot. Same as tying your shoelaces, but of course without a bow, or just do a half knot and it will stay in place just fine. They are only leaves after all. I always like to lightly tug on the line after I've done tying the little half knot or basic knot, just to make sure what I've done is secure. And then I repeat the process. In this line, I had about 9 leaves, spaced roughly about 5 inches or 12.7 centimeters apart, or more than that. We're trying to create an effect of falling leaves, so adding variation to the spacing is important. Just don't bunch them up too close together and then you'll be fine. And that's really it. Cut off any extra line and then attach it to the wall or ceiling as you like. I personally folded a piece of tape over the top end of the line and then put a push pin or thumbtack through it into the ceiling. For the pinecone lines, you can loop the fishing line around any of the scale rings and then tie the line, or simply just tangle the pinecones in the line. I did the latter because I found the first option to be more time consuming and a little irritating because it's very easy for the line to get caught up in the scales anyway, and it creates a more varied look in how the pine cones hang. For my line, I only ended up using 2 pine cones and had the line hanging from the side of a window, so the pine cones actually ended up decorating the end of the windowsill as an accent. So don't think that you have to make a perfect line with a bunch of pine cones hanging from it. Be creative. And that's it. You can now carefully add essential oils to your pine cones, hang things up, and enjoy the fall aesthetic. You can certainly build upon this and be even more creative than the lines that I am just showing here. You can tie some charms or pieces of paper that hold special meaning to you, or this particular time of year. You could simply hold each leaf or pinecone and envision its purpose in your space, such as one to help you focus better during work, or to calm your anxiety, or to bring you good luck or health, depending on the color, or just because you feel like you want to. This is a great activity to enjoy with children, friends, or just yourself, to have a moment to just be. And I think it's a good mental health practice for honoring the change of seasons within your home, if that resonates with you. Overall, it's a very inexpensive decoration for parties, a D&D room, or even indoor fall weddings, actually, since you can make enough fall leaf lines all around at different lengths and hang them from the ceiling, and you can achieve a very magical look, I think. So I hope you enjoyed this short creative autumnal DIY. If you've made it this far into the video, the wind is picking up. So if you've made it this far into the video, I'd like to give you a special treat. This is a first come, first serve situation. You can either redeem what I'm about to show for yourself, a friend, or a family member, or let this go for the next person that may really find joy in finding one of these games. So here are Steam game keys for you to redeem. I hope they bring you joy. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a comment here and checking out my art shop. Painting is one of my callings in life, and I've always wanted to be able to sustain myself, even in part through my illustrations. So I have a link in the description and maybe somewhere else in the little video info thing if I can do that. Otherwise, I appreciate your enjoyment and hope I've left you with some inspiration. Our Discord family, Patreon, and my socials are in the video description. Thank you for watching.